Hi everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning here at the King Arts Complex. The King Arts Complex is a cultural center that helps connect community with art. The mission of this center is to mark the contributions of African Americans through creative expression and education while building bridges of harmony and understanding among people. Here we are reminded of Dr. King's powerful legacy and his poignant words. Among many remarkable insights, Dr. King once said, quote, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." And so it's appropriate to note that this arts complex also serves as a polling location. And if you sat in here on election day, you would see neighbors greeting each other, dedicated poll workers putting in a long day, and the community pride that seems to bring us together when we vote. That is why I've asked you to join me here at this special place that brings us together for all those kinds of reasons. I stand before you today convinced that Ohio can and must do more to encourage participation and strengthen our democracy. So I proudly announce to you my candidacy for Ohio Secretary of State. Ohio is a great state with caring, hardworking people. I've been proud to call it home my entire life. I grew up in a small town in Northeast Ohio where there was one stoplight, and the 100 kids I went to kindergarten through 12th grade with were like my brothers and sisters. When I think back to my grade school days, I remember our teachers conducting mock presidential elections for us. I treasure that memory. It started me on the path of understanding just how special it is to grow up in this country where everyone has the right to vote and everyone has the opportunity to have their voice heard. As I think back to those first elections, I know that I didn't have to show a state-issued ID. I didn't have to wait in long lines. I didn't know what purging was, but I didn't have to worry about being purged from the voter rolls. And I didn't have to fill out a bunch of paperwork in order to ensure my vote would be counted. Now I know these were just pretend elections for school kids, but what I experienced then was simple and fun, and it gave me a lot of pride. And it looked different than the current situation in Ohio. Instead of making it simpler to vote, our state leaders have made things more difficult, seemingly by the day. I believe people all across Ohio deserve more than what we are getting from our state leaders. Cities like Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati deserve better. My hometown of Garrettsville and the hundreds of other small towns just like it deserve better. And it's because I believe so strongly that Ohioans deserve better from our state leaders that I am running for Secretary of State. Because no matter who you are or where you are from, I will put you first. Ever since I was elected to the State House in 2010, I've been fighting back against attacks on working families, women's rights, and voting rights. I've seen firsthand what happens when state leaders ignore the voices of so many Ohioans and let political benefit be their only guide. So many Ohioans have stood with me in these fights. Under this administration, over 2 million Ohioans have been purged from the voter rolls. That's the worst record in the entire country. I'm helping to lead the fight to restore the many military voters and other Ohioans who were wrongfully purged. I've also consistently fought against attempts to eliminate our weekend and evening hours of early voting. Hardworking Ohioans shouldn't lose out on the right to vote simply because they have demanding jobs, schedules, or family duties. And I fought hard to make sure that people's votes are counted. Ohio is the third worst state in the country for throwing out people's votes after they've been cast, which really is an insult to our democracy. And I'm ready to make the same kind of difference when it comes to the role a Secretary of State plays in growing our businesses and expanding economic opportunity. As an attorney at a small town practice in Kent, I helped small businesses open and submit their business filings. Ohio's businesses are important to me. Whether it's the American car I drive, bought from a local dealer, or the popcorn shop in downtown Kent, where I buy popcorn and treats for my 3 nieces. This direct experience with helping these new businesses get their start gives me the right perspective for how we can make this process better. So many Ohioans and I have fought hard together, but there's a lot more work to do. And Ohioans deserve better than what they're getting from their leaders in Columbus. As your Secretary of State, I will always put you first by bringing real accountability and transparency to the public office, by securing and modernizing our elections so that every Ohioan's vote counts and every Ohioan's voice is heard, by expanding the vote, meeting Ohioans where they are, like the BMV, our libraries, or veterans and disability offices, by making sure my office is helpful and streamlined, not unresponsive and bureaucratic, by modernizing the office's tools and prioritizing small businesses. This will allow Ohio businesses that are large and growing or small and home-based to thrive in order to make our communities stronger. Now I'll just close with a positive story. Just over a year ago, during the presidential primary, I learned that a 17-year-old from Lorain County had been turned away when he went to vote. Even though under Ohio law, 17-year-olds are eligible to vote in a primary if they will be 18 by the general election. So I investigated and found out that for no apparent reason, our current Secretary of State had issued a new rule preventing eligible 17-year-olds from voting in this presidential primary. That was wrong. It was time to roll up our sleeves and fight back. We organized 17-year-olds from across the state. Protests formed. A lawsuit was filed. And just a few days before the primary election day, we won. And 12,000 17-year-olds from all over the state were able to cast their vote, their first vote, in the presidential primary. This is what happens when we work together. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you live. You deserve the right to participate in our election process. It doesn't matter whether you work 9 to 5 to support a family or are retired and need assistance getting to the polls. I will ensure registration is simple, you have every opportunity to vote, and your vote is counted. Ohio deserves better. And let me just say, even doing better is not good enough. As Secretary of State, I'll make it my job to deliver Ohioans the best. Thank you.